Hi, everybody, and welcome to Breeders' Cup Focus. I'm Dan Illman along with Mike Beer, and in this edition, we're going to take a look at the major contenders for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile as ranked by Daily Racing Form. Let's take a look at the top contenders. Life is Good for Todd Pletcher, 8-5 on the preliminary Daily Racing Form line. Life is Good began this year as a major Triple Crown contender in the Bob Baffert barn. He was injured. He missed the entire Triple Crown season. He came east. He's with Pletcher, and he hasn't lost a step.
No, he's been really good. Obviously, he was really good to start. And as good as this 3-year-old crop is this year, it felt like he was head and shoulders above those horses, at least early on. He's come back from that layoff, Dan. He's in a new barn now, racing out in New York, and both of his starts for Pletcher have been very, very good.
He gave a bang-up effort when second to Jackie's Warrior in the 8 Challenge Jerkins at Saratoga. At a distance maybe a little short for him, the 7/8, and he came back in a 1-turn mile at Belmont in this race. Now, the Kelso was a short field, Mike, and the horse that Life is Good had to beat, unfortunately, was pulled up on the backstretch. I don't think it would have mattered. Life is Good aired.
Yeah, it didn't matter. He was just doing what he had to do here at the shortest of prices. This was no surprise to see him winning this race so easily. And you can see, Dan, it's just like a morning workout. He's not really being asked, doing it all on his own. And, perhaps for the first time in his life, not, drifting way out into the track through the stretch. He stuck right to the rail.
On the same day as the Kelso was the Parks Dirt Mile, featuring our second and fourth horses on the list, Silver State and Mind Control. Let's turn into the stretch of this race. Silver State, the Metropolitan Handicap winner, broke slowly. He's on the far outside, and it looks like he's going to go right by Mind Control and on his way to victory. And Silver State has Mind Control measured, Mike, and all of a sudden, I have no idea what happened. I guess he pulled himself up because Mind Control somehow snatches victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, it is hard to say what happened there. It certainly looked like Silver State just sort of got to thinking there in the late stages that his job was done, and he didn't put the race away. It allowed a pretty nice horse in Mind Control to come back on him and beat him. I still thought Silver State ran really well that day, Dan. I think he's a really talented horse. I think the mile's a good distance for him. And I think he's, probably the most dangerous horse for Life is Good to have to race against.
I agree. He's been very consistent all year long, whether it's 1 turn or 2 against top company. I thought he ran the best race in the Parks Dirt Mile and should have won. As for Mind Control, who has always been rock solid around 1 turn, it was nice to see that he could at least succeed around 2. And as we saw, he likes to fight. He's very, very game.
He is. He's been a good horse for a long time. That was, the first time they had stretched him out since a failed run at the Breeders' Cup as a 2-year-old in the juvenile. I guess he handled it okay. It certainly got a decent figure, and it makes you feel like, the 2-turn mile at Del Mar's no problem for him. I still feel like this is a really tough spot.
Ginobili heads the West Coast contingent, and this horse might have gotten a little bit of a break before his final prep when the expected pace setter broke through the gate prior to the start, ran off for a good long way, was reloaded, and just didn't have much in the tank when they broke. And when they turn into the stretch, Ginobili, who got a very nice ride to get off the rail, get to the outside, get to the front, is on his way.
Yeah, he did take advantage a little bit here, but it's another fast race, Dan. He's a pretty interesting horse coming into the Breeders' Cup. I guess it's a little unfortunate that he has to race against a horse like Life is Good. But listen, when you start taking his form apart, he was a really impressive debut winner. I guess he lost his way a little bit. He was grade 2 place, though, in a pretty fast San Vicente in his 3-year-old debut. They tried turf a few times. It didn't work out. He's come back to dirt recently with 2 really impressive and pretty fast wins.
Let's talk a little bit about Snapper Sinclair. Boy, is he versatile. Doesn't matter whether it's turf or dirt. He seems to show up just about every time. Just looks like he's catching a tough spot here. If this was at Kentucky Downs going a mile on the turf, I'd like him a lot more.
Yeah, I would too. He's a very versatile horse too, dirt or turf. It seems like he runs his race. This is a tough spot, but at a big price, you could do worse than trying to get him in there underneath.
Let's take a look at horses 6 through 10 on Daily Racing Form's preliminary morning line. 8 Rings is a horse that started his career as a 2-year-old with a little bit of buzz. Maybe it hasn't all worked out for him, but he at least is coming off of a promising race.
Yeah, it feels like maybe he took a step in the right direction last time. He's still got to do a lot better than that against this field.
As for CZ Rocket, he is also cross-entered in the sprint. I would think he would run there, although he's run well at a mile in the past.
He has. I feel like he's best as a closing sprinter. In a race like this, he would just hope that there's some hitting in front of him and he can make one run.
Looks like the big 3 on Daily Racing Form's preliminary morning line. They hold the aces in the dirt mile. Life is Good, Silver State, Ginobili should be a nice war at the BC.